First Met is a Netflix original time travel rom-com. In the film, Adam Devine has spent the last 3 years in love with Alexandra Daddario, who's recently engaged to Robbie Amell. For him, the night they met was absolutely perfect, but she ended up putting him in the friend zone. And ever since, he's wondered what went wrong. But everything changes when he discovers a way to go back in time to the night they met and do things right. While it is a fairly straightforward rom-com setup with just a time travel twist, my wife and I thoroughly enjoyed it from beginning to end. Now, before I go into my full review, go ahead and tell me down below in the comment section if you've seen it, what did you think about it, what did you love, what did you hate? Let's get a nice lively discussion about it. With that said, let's get started talking about the good. Now, easily the best thing about this movie for me was the characters themselves. You actually like the characters, find them amusing, and you're rooting for all of them. And that's kind of what makes the tension within the film work, is that with all the time travel and different things happening, you're both rooting for the person changing things and you don't want things to change at the same time. And that's because you actually like everyone and you like the dynamic and chemistry amongst all the different people. And it's not at all that they're perfect characters. They're all very broken characters that make mistakes. They make bad decisions. They treat people badly. They make selfish choices that mislead people. But it all in very human ways, in relatable ways where you think that's the way people really do act. They're not bad. They're just human, and thus they make mistakes. And with the way the story plays out, with timelines and different events happening as things change, you see how their character flaws have consequences over time, how they repeat certain mistakes, how they grow and change. And with each one of the characters, while in a certain sense we only see a very limited amount of time in their lives, we also get to see a lot of character development because of the way the story unfolds. Also, it's a movie that has ideas to it. It actually explores themes of relationships, destiny, why people do and do not work together and why they work in different ways. It actually tackles these ideas, explores it, has something to say about relationships, the way we relate to each other, the way we try and find meaning in the past. It explores ideas of miscommunications, our memory, how we can view the past with rosy-colored glasses, and there's actual ideas in it, which I really appreciated. And as a comedy, it's not a movie that necessarily had me laughing out loud from beginning to end, but I was amused and entertained from beginning to end. With that said, let's move on to the mixed aspect. And the big thing would be Adam Devine himself. The movie is entirely centered on his character. He was one of the screenwriters on the movie. So if you're not a big fan of his shtick, his sense of humor, then this probably isn't going to be the movie for you. However, if you're a fan of his work, then you might be a huge fan of this movie because it is so much of his personality on the screen from beginning to end. And also with his kind of sense of humor, there's pretty big broad spectrum in there. And you did that movie with Zac Efron a couple years back that was very hard R. This movie's very PG-13. It's not hard R at all. There is some language, there's some sexual content, but it's PG-13, very firmly in that ground. It doesn't get super crass while having just a little bit of innuendo at different times. And so it's a matter of, if you like his work, you'll probably enjoy this movie a good bit. And if you don't, you probably won't. And from there, we'll move on to the bad. The big thing for me is that there are certain plot points that are very predictable. Specifically, 2 times in the movies, things were said or that happened, and I immediately went, oh, I bet this is what's going to happen. And that is exactly what ended up happening. It telegraphed too much where the plot was headed. Now, the way it got to those endpoints was very different from what I thought. It went left when I thought it was going to go right. It zigged and zagged. There were turns I didn't see coming. But the end result was what I predicted was going to happen. Overall, this is a movie I had a good time with. It is a fairly straightforward rom-com. It plays into certain formulaic elements, and that doesn't bother me too much. So overall, I'm going to give this one a B. And on an entertainment level, this is a solid 7.5, and it's a movie I can see my wife and I rewatching quite a bit, and it was very enjoyable for us. How about you? What did you think about it? Tell me down below in the comment section. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Are you into Adam Devine's shtick? Is his stuff too much for you? Go ahead and tell me down below in the comment section. And if you're new to my channel, please consider clicking that subscribe button. I do movie reviews, TV reviews, ranking videos, but the key thing is I don't want to just talk about movies. I want to talk about movies with you. So join me down in the comment section. Let's have a lively discussion about this movie, Netflix originals, whatever you want to talk about. Let's go ahead and just talk down there. Get to know each other a little bit better. And thank you so much for watching.